dearest father, you have put the wild waters in its roar, allay them. And the sky, it seems, to pour down stinking pitch, but that the sea, mounting to the welkin's cheek, dashes the fire out. Oh, I have suffered with those that I saw suffer. A brave vessel who had no doubts and noble creatures that were dashed all to pieces. Oh, the cry did knock against my very heart. Poor souls, they perished. If I had been any god of power, I would have sunk the sea within the earth, or else the good ship so have swallowed in the frothtening souls within her.
Be collected. No more amazement. Tell your piteous heart there's no harm done.
Oh, the day.
No harm. I have done nothing but in care of thee, my dear one, thee, my daughter, who art ignorant of what thou art, not knowing of whence I am, nor that I am more better than Prospero, master of a full poor cell, and thy no greater father.
More to know to never meddle with my thoughts.
'Tis time I should inform thee farther. Lend thy hand and pluck my magic garment from me. So, lie there, my art. Wipe thou thine eyes, have comfort. The direful spectacle of the rack, which touched the very virtue of compassion in thee, I have by mine art so safely ordered that there is no soul, no, not so much perdition as an hair, bitted to any creature in the vessel, which thou heardest cry, which thou sawest sink. Sit down, for now thou must know farther.
You have often begun to tell me what I am, but stopped and left me with a ruthless inquisition for this day, not today.
The hour is now come. The very minute bids thee ope thine ear. Obey and be attentive. Canst thou remember a time before we came unto this cell? I do not think thou canst, for then wast thou not out 3 years old.
Certainly, sir, I can.
By what? Any other house or person of anything image tell me that hath kept with thy remembrance?
'Tis far off, and more like a dream than an occurrence that my influence. Had I not 4 or 5 women that once tended me?
Thou hadst, and more, and but how is it that this lives in thy mind? What seest thou else in the dark backward and abysm of time? If thou canst remember aught ere thou camest here, how thou camest here thou mayest.
That I do not.
12 years since, Miranda. 12 years since. Thy father was the Duke of Milan and a prince of power.
Sir, are you not my father?
Thy mother was a piece of virtue, and she said thou wast my daughter. And thy father was Duke of Milan, and thou his only heir and princess, no words issued.
Oh, heavens! But what foul play had we that we came from thence? How blessed was we then?
Both, my girl, by foul play, as thou sayest, were we heaved thence. But blessedly hold hither.
My heart pleases to think of the team that I have shown you to, which is from my remembrance. Please you further.
My brother and thy uncle, called Antonio. I pray thee, mark me, that a brother should be so perfidious. He whom next thyself of all the world I loved, and to him put the manage of my state, which at that time through all the signalies it was the first, and Prospero the prime duke, being so reputed in dignity and for the liberal arts without a parallel. Those being all my study, the government I cast upon my brother, and to my state grew stranger, being transported and wrapped in secret studies. Thy false uncle, dost thou attend me?
Oh, sir, most heedfully.
Being once perfected in how to grant suits, how to deny them, who to advance and who to trash for overtopping, new created the creatures that were mine, I say, or else changed them, or else new formed them, having both the key of officer and office, set all the hearts of the state to what tune pleased his ear, now that he was the ivy that had hid my princely trunk, and sucked my verdure out on't. Dost thou attend me?
Sir, good sir, I do.
I pray thee mark me. I, thus neglecting worldly ends, all dedicated to closeness and the bettering of my mind with that which, but by being so retired, or prized all popular rate, and thy false uncle awaked an evil nature, and my trust, like a good parent, did beget of him a falsehood in its contrary as great as my trust was, which had indeed no limit of confidence sans bound. He, being thus lauded, not only with what my revenue yielded, but what my power might else exact, like one who, having it to truth by telling it, made such a sinner of his memory as to credit his own lie, he did think he was indeed the Duke, out of the substitution and executing the outward face of royalty with all prerogative. Hence, his ambition growing, dost thou hear?
Your tale, sir, would cure deafness.
Who have no screen between this part he played and him he played it for, he needs must be absolute villain. Me, poor man, my library was dukedom large enough. Of temporal royalties, he now thinks me incapable. Confederates so dry he was forsway, with the King of Naples, to do him homage, to pay him annual tribute, subject my coronet to his crown, to bend the dukedom yet unbound, alas, poor villain, to most ignoble stooping.
Oh, the heavens!
Hear his condition and the event, and then tell me if this might be a brother.
But I should sin to think but nobly of my grandmother.
Good wombs have borne bad sons. Now the condition. The King of Naples, being to me an enemy inveterate, hearkens my brother's suit, which was that he, in lieu of the premises of homage and I know not how much tribute, should presently extirpate me and mine out of the dukedom, and confer fair Millen with all the honors upon my brother. One midnight, fated to the purpose, did Antonio open the gates of Millen, and in the dead of darkness the ministers for the purpose hurried forth me and thy crying self.
I'm not remembering how I cried out then, will cry dare again. It is a hint that brings mine eyes to it.
Here a little further, and then I'll bring thee to the present business which now's upon us, without the which this story were most impertinent.
Wherefore did they not that hour destroy us?
Oh, well demanded, wench, my tale provokes that question. Dear, they durst not, so dear the love my people bore me, nor set a mark so bloody on the business, with colours fairer painted their foul ends. In view, they hurried us aboard a bark, bore us some leagues to sea, where they prepared a rotten carcass of a boat, not rigged, nor tackled, sail, nor mast. The very rats instinctively had quit it. They hoist us to cry to the sea that roared to us, who sighed to the wind, whose pity, sighing back again, did us but loving wrong.
What trouble was I to you then?
Oh, a cherubim thou wast that did preserve me. Thou didst smile, infused with a fortitude from heaven, while I have decked the sea with drops full salt, under my burthen groaned, which raised up in me an undergoing stomach, to bear up against what should ensue.
How came we ashore?
By providence divine. Some food we had, and some fresh water, which a noble Neapolitan, Gonzalo, out of his charity, being then appointed master of this design, did give us, with the rich garments and linens and stuffs and necessaries which since have steadied much, and of his gentleness, knowing how I love my books, he did furnish me from mine own library, with volumes I prize above my.
Would I might but ever see that man again?
Now, I arise. Sit still, and hear the end of our sea sorrow. Here in this island have we arrived, and here have I, thy schoolmaster, made thee more profit than other princesses can, who have time for vainer hours and tutors not so careful.
Heaven thank you for it. But still 'tis beating in my mind, your reason for raising this sea storm.
Know thus far forth thy accident most strange. Bountiful fortune, now, my dear lady, hath mine enemies brought to this shore, and by my prescience I do find my zenith doth depend upon a most auspicious star, whose influence, if I court not but omit, my fortune shall ever after droop. Here cease more questions. Thou art inclined to sleep. 'Tis a good dullness, and give it way. I know thou canst not. Come away, spirit! Come! I am ready now! Approach my Ariel! Come!
All hail, great master, brave Sir, hail! I come to answer thy best pleasure. Be it to fly, to swim, to ride on the fire, to dive into the cold clouds, task Ariel and all his quality.
Hast thou, spirit, performed to point the tempest that I bade thee?
To every article, I boarded the king's ship, now in the beak, now in the waist. The deck and every cabin I flamed amazement. Sometime I divide and burn in many places. The top mast, the yards, the bowsprit would I flame distinctly, then meet and join. Jove's lightning, the precursor of the mighty thunderclast, more momentary in sight outrunning were not. The fire and cracks of sulphurous roaring, the mighty Neptune seemed to besiege and make his bold waves tremble, yea, his dread trident shake.
My brave spirit, who was so firm, so constant, that this coil did not infect his reason.
Not a soul but felt a fever of the mad, played some tricks of desperation. All but mariners plunged into the foaming brine, and quit the vessel, then all afire with me. Then the king's son Ferdinand, with hair upstaring like reeds, not hair, was the first man that leapt, cried, "Head is empty, and all the devils are here!"
My fine spirit. But was not this nigh shore?
Close by, master.
But are they, Ariel, safe?
Not a hair perish. On their sustaining garments not a blemish, but fresher than before. And as thou bades me, the king's son have I landed by himself, whom I left cooling of the air, an odd angle of the eye, with sighs, and sitting with his arms folded in this sad knot.
Of the king's ship, the mariners, say how thou hast disposed, and all the rest of the fleet?
Safely in harbour is the king's ship. In the deep nook there she's hid. Of the mariners all in the hatches stowed, who, with a charm joined to their suffered labour, have I landed asleep, supposing that they saw the king's ship wracked and his great person perished.
Ariel, thy task exactly is performed. But there's more work. What's the time of the day?
Past the mid-season.
At least 2 glasses. The time twixt 6 and now must by us both be spent most preciously.
Is there more toil? Since thou dost give me pains, let me remember what thou hast promised, which is not yet performed me.
How now, moody? What is thou canst demand?
My liberty.
Before the time be out, no more.
I prithee, remember I have done thee worthy service, told thee no lies, made thee no mistakings, done so without a grudge or grumbling. Thou didst promise to bade me a full year.
Dost thou forget from what a torment I did free thee?
No.
Thou dost, and thinkst it much to tread the ooze of the salt deep, to fly upon the sharp winds of the north, to do me business in the veins of the earth when it is baked with frost.
I do not.
Thou liest, malignant thing! Hast thou forgot the foul witch, Sycorax, who with age and envy was grown into a hoop? Hast thou forgot her?
No, sir.
Thou hast? Where was she born? Speak, tell me.
Sir, in Argier.
Oh, was she so? I must once in a month recount what thou hast been, which thou forgetst. This damned witch Sycorax, for mischiefs manifold and sorceries too terrible to human hearing, from Argier, thou knowest, was banished. But for one thing she did, they would not take her life. Is this not so?
Aye, sir.
This blue-eyed hag was hither brought with child, and left here by the sailors. Thou, my slave, as thou reportst thyself, was then her servant, and being a spirit too delicate to act her earthy and abhorrent commands, refusing her grand hests, she did confine thee, with help of her more potent ministers, and in her most unmitigable rage, into a cloven pine, within which rift imprisoned thou didst painfully remain 12 years, during which space of time she died and left thee there. Then was this island, save for the freckled whelp that she did litter here, a freckled whelp hag born, not honored with a human shape.
Yes, Caliban her son.
Girlpin, I say so! He, that Caliban whom now I keep in service. Thou best knowest what torment I did find thee in. It was a torment to penetrate the breasts of ever angry bears. It did make wolves howl. It was a torment to lay upon the damned, which Sycorax could not again undo. It was mine art when I arrived and heard thee, that made gape the pine and let thee out.
I thank thee, master.
If thou more murmurest, I will cleave an oak and peg thee in his knotty entrails till thou hast howled away 12 winters.
Pardon, master. I will be correspondent to command and do my spriting gently.
Do so. And after 2 days, I will discharge thee.
That's my noble master. What shall I do? Say what shall I do?
Go. Make thyself like a nymph of the sea. Be subject to no eyes but thine and mine, invisible to every eyeball else. Go, take this shape and come hither and hence with diligence. Awake, dear heart. Awake. Thou hast slept well. Awake.
Strangeness of your story, but heaviness in me.
Shake it off. We'll visit Caliban, my slave who never gives us kind answer.
'Tis a villain, sir. I do not love to look on.
But as 'tis, we cannot miss him. He doth build our fire, fetch in our wood, and serves in offices that profit us. What ho! Slave! Caliban, thou earth, thou speak!
Yes, put it up with thee!
Now come forth, I say, does other business for thee. Come, thou taught us when! Thine apparition, my delicate Ariel, hark in thine ear.
My lord, it shall be done.
Thou most poisonous slave, got by the devil himself upon thy wicked dam, come forth!
As wicked do, as ere my mother brushed, with raven's feather from unwholesome fin drop on you both, a southwest blow on ye and blister ye all o'er.
For this, be sure, tonight thou shalt have cramp! Side stitches shall pin up thy breath! Now thou shalt be pinched as thick as honeycombs, each pinch more stinging than these that made 'em!
I must eat my dinner. Ah! This island's mine, by Sycorax my mother, which thou takest from me. When thou camest first, thou strokest me and made much of me, wouldst give me water with berries in it, and teach me to name the bigger light, and how the less that shone by day and night, and then I loved thee, showed thee all the qualities of the isle. Fresh springs, brine pits, fertile place, and barren cursed be that I did so. All the charms of Sycorax, toads, beetles, bats light on you. For I am all the subjects that you have, which by first was my own king, and here you stye me here on this hard rock. What else you do keep me the rest of the island?
Thou most lying slave, whom stripes may move, not kindness. I have used thee, filth as thou art, with humane kindness. I have lodged thee in mine own cell, till thou didst seek to violate the honor of my child.
Oh, what a hit thou didst prevent me. I had peopled else this isle with Calibans.
Horrid slave, which any print of goodness wilt not take, being capable of all ill. I pitied thee, took pains to make thee speak, taught thee each hour one thing or other, but thou didst not, savage, know thine own meaning, but wouldst gabble like a thing most brutish. I endowed thy purposes with words that made them known. But thou vile race, had that in it which good natures could not abide to be with, wast thou deservedly confined to this rock, when thou had deserved more than a prison.
You taught me your language, and my profit on this, I know how to curse. The red plague rid you for learning me your language.
So, slave, hence! Be quick, thou art best to answer other business. If thou neglects, or dost unwillingly what I command, I'll rack thee with old corrals, fill all thy bones with hate, and make thee howl that wolves shall tremble at thy den.
I must obey. These artists have such power, he would control my damned god Tempest and make a vassal on him.
So, slave hands!
Where should this music be? In the air or the earth? Sure, it sits upon some god of the island, sitting on a bank, weeping again the king my father racked. This music crept by me upon the waters, allying both their fury and my passion with its sweet air. Thence I have followed it, but 'tis gone.
Seest yond.
What is it? A spirit? Lord, how it looks about. It carries a brave form. But 'tis a spirit.
No, wench. It eats and sleeps and hath such senses as we have such. This gallant which thou seest wast in the rack, and but he's something stained with grief that's beauty's anger. Thou mightst call him a goodly person. He hath lost his fellows and strays about to find them.
I might call him a thing divine, but nothing natural I ever saw so noble.
It goes on, I see, as my soul prompts it. Delicate Ariel, I'll free thee within 2 days for this.
Most sure the goddess of whom these airs attend, vouchsafe my prayer, may know if you remain upon this island, and with some good instruction give how I may bear me here. My prime request, which I do less pronounce, is, oh, you wonder, if you be maid or no?
No wonder, sir, but certainly a maid.
My language, heavens, I am the best that speak this speech, wherever were 'tis spoken.
How? The best? What wert thou if the king of Naples heard thee?
A single thing as I am now, to hear thee speak of Naples. He does hear me, and that he does I weep. Myself and Naples, who with mine eyes never beheld it ebb, beheld the king my father rack.
Lack for mercy.
Yes, faith, and all his lords, the Duke of Milan, and his brave son being twain.
The Duke of Milan and his more braver daughter could control thee, if now 'twere fit to do it. At first sight, they have changed eyes. Spirit, fine spirit, I'll set thee free for this. A word, good sir, a word. I fear you have done yourself some wrong.
Why speaks my father so ungently? This is the third man that e'er I saw, the first that e'er I sighed for. Can he move my father to be inclined my way?
Oh, if a virgin and your affection not gone forth, I'll make you the Queen of Naples.
Soft, sir! One word more! They are both in either's powers, but this swift business I must uneasy make, lest too light winning make the prize light. One word, sir! I charge thee that thou attend me. Thou dost here usurp the name thou owest not. Thou set thyself upon this island as a spy to win it from me, the Lord on it.
No, as I'm a man.
There's nothing ill that can dwell in such a temple. If the ill spirit has such a fair house, good things will strive to dwell in it.
Speak not for him. He's a traitor. Come, follow. I'll manacle thy neck and feet together. Sea water shalt thou drink. Thy food shall be the fresh brook mussels, withered roots, and husks wherein the acorn cradle follow.
No, I will resist such entertainment till mine enemy has more power.
Father, think not too rash a trial of him, for he is gentle and not fearful.
What? I say my foot, my tutor? Put up thy sword, traitor, who makes a show but darest not strike. Thy conscience is so possessed with guilt, come from thy ward, for I could here disarm thee with this stick and make thy weapon drop.
Beseech you,
Take not on my garments!
Sir, have pity. I'll be his surety.
Silence! One word more shall make me chide thee, if not hate thee. What? An advocate for an impostor? Hush! Thou thinks there is no more such shapes as he, having seen but him and Caliban? Foolish wench! The most of men, this is a Caliban, and they to him are angels!
Then my affections are most humble. I do not wish to see a goodlier man.
Come, obey! Thy nerves are in their infancy again, and have no vigor in them!
And so they are. My spirits as in a dream are all bound up. My father's lost the weakness which I feel. The wrack of all my friends. No, this man's threats and whom I'm subdued are but light to me in this prison. Behold this maid.
It works. Come! Thou hast done well, thine Ariel. Fire! Ha! What thou canst shalt do me?
Be of comfort, sir. My father is of better nature. This is unwanted which comes from him now.
Now thou shalt be free as mountain air, but then do exactly all points of my command.
To the syllable.
Come! Speak not for him.
Be merry. You have cause, so have we all of joy, for our escape is much beyond our loss. But for the miracle, our preservation, few in millions can speak like us. Then wisely, good sir, we our sorrow with our comfort.
Prithee, peace! He receives comfort like cold porridge.
The visitor will not give him more, so...
Look, he's winding up the watch of his wit. By and by it will strike.
Sir,
One, tell.
when every grief is entertained that's offered comes to the entertainer,
$1.
the Lord comes to him. Indeed, you have spoken truly in his purpose.
You have taken it wiselier than I meant you should.
Therefore, my lord,
What a spendthrift to see his tongue!
I prithee spare! Oh, he will be talking.
Which of he or Adrian, for a good wager, first begins to crow?
The old cock.
The cockerel.
This island seemed to be most desert,
So you're paid.
uninhabitable and almost inaccessible.
Yes!
He could not miss it.
It must needs be of subtle, tender, and delicate temperance.
Oh, Temperance was a delicate wench.
The air breathes upon us here most sweetly.
As if it had lungs, and rotten ones.
Oh, as 'twere perfumed by a fen.
here is everything advantageous to life.
True, save means to live.
But the rarity of it is, which is indeed almost beyond credit,
Oh, as many vouched rarities are.
that our garments been, as it were, drenched in the sea, hold notwithstanding their freshness, and glossus, being rather new dyed than stained with salt water.
Aye, but very falsely pocket up his reports.
Methinks our garments were as fresh as when we first put them on in Africa, at the marriage of the king's fair daughter.
Oh, 'twas a sweet marriage, and we prosper well in our return.
Why, in good time.
Sir, we were just talking that our garments seem now as fresh as when we were in Tunis at the marriage of your daughter, who is now queen. Is not, sir, my doublet as fresh as when I first wore it? I mean, in a sort.
That sort was well fished for.
When I wore it to your daughter's marriage.
You cram these words into mine ears against the stomach of my sense. Would I had never married my daughter there for coming thence? My son is lost, and in my rape, she too, who is so far from Italy removed, I ne'er again shall see her. O thou, mine heir of Naples and Milan, what strange fish hath made his meal on thee?
Sir, he may live. I watched him beat the surges beneath him and ride upon their backs. He trod upon the water and breasted the surge most swoln to meet him. His bold head above the contentious waves he kept, and oared himself with his good arms and lusty stroke to the shore. I not doubt he came alive to land.
No, he's gone.
Sir, you may thank yourself for this great loss that would not bless our Europe with your daughter, but rather lose her to an African, where she at least is banished from your eye, who have cause to wet the grief on't.
Prithee, peace!
You are kneel to and important otherwise by all of us, and the fair soul herself weighed between loathness and obedience, which end, though the beam should bow, we have lost your son, I fear, forever. Milan and Naples have more widows in them of this business's making, and we bring men to comfort them. The fault's your own.
So is the dearest of the lost.
My lord Sebastian, the truth you speak doth lack some gentleness, and time to speak it in. You rub the sore when you should bring the plaster. It is foul weather in us all, good sir, when you are cloudy. Had a plantation on this isle, my lord, and were king on, what would I do? In the Commonwealth I would execute all things, but no kind of traffic would I admit, no names of magistrates, letters should not be known, riches, poverty, use of service, none, contract, succession, born, bound of land, tilth, vineyard, none, no use of metal, or corn, or wine, or oil, all men idle, no occupation, all, and women too, but innocent and pure, no sovereignty.
Yet you would be king of it.
Oh, the latter end of his commonwealth forgets the beginning.
All of common nature should produce without sweat or endeavor, treason, felony, sword, knife, pike, gun, or need of any engine, would I not have, but Mother Nature should bring forth, of her own kind, all poison, all abundance, to feed my innocent people.
No marrying on your subjects.
None, man, all idle, whores and knaves.
And I would with such perfection govern, sir, to excel the golden age.
Oh, say, his majesty. Oh, long live Gonzalo.
Do you mock me, sir?
Prithee, no more. Thou dost talk nothing to me.
I do well believe, your highness. I just use the occasion to minister to these gentlemen who have such sensible and nimble lungs, that they always use them to laugh at nothing.
'Twas you we laughed at.
Who am in merry fooling am nothing to you, so continue to laugh, and I'll laugh at nothing still.
Oh, what a blow was there given! Oh, if it not for a flat one.
You are gentlemen of brave metal.
Nay, good my lord, be not angry.
No, I'm not born to adventure my discretion so weakly. You laugh me asleep, for I am very, very heavy.
Go sleep then and hear us.
What? So soon asleep? I wished mine eyes would with themselves shut up my thoughts. I find they're inclined to do so.
Please you, sir, do not omit the heavy offering. Seldom visits sorrow, and if done, it is a comfort.
You too, my lord, will guard your person as you take your rest and watch your safe.
Thank you. Wondrous heavy.
What a strange drowsiness possesses them.
It is the quality of the climate.
What if it not been our eyelids sink? If I am not myself disposed to sleep.
Nor I. My spirits are nimble. They fell together all as by consent. They dropped, by a thunderstruck. What might, worthy Sebastian, what might? None no more. And yet, methinks I see it in thy face what thou shouldst be. The occasion speaks thee. My strong imagination sees a crown dropping upon thy head.
What? Art thou waking?
Do not hear me speak.
Indeed I do. Surely it is a sleepy language, and thou speakest out of thy sleep.
Thou let's thy fortune sleep, noble Sebastian. Dreams winks while thou'rt waking.
Thou dost snore distinctly. There's meaning in thy snores.
I am more serious than is my custom. You must be so too, if heed me, which to do so troubles the oar.
Prithee, say on. The setting of thine iron cheek claim a matter from thee, and a birth indeed which throws thee much to yield.
Thus, sir, although this lord of weak remembrance hath here persuaded, only professes to persuade, the king his son's alive, 'tis as impossible that he's undrowned as he that sleeps here swims.
I have no hope he's undrowned.
Out of that no hope, what great hope have you? No hope that weighs into the way so high a hope that even ambition cannot pierce a wing beyond, but doubt's discovery there. Will you grant with me that Ferdinand is drowned?
He's gone.
Well, then tell me, who's the next heir of Naples?
Clarabelle.
Ha! She that is queen of Tunis, she that dwells 10 leagues beyond men's life, she that from Naples can have no note unless the sun were post, she that from whom we were all sea swallowed, though some cast again, and by that destiny to perform an act of what passed as prologue, what's to come is yours in my discharge.
What stuff is this? How say you?
That you bore the mind that I do. What to sleep with is for your advancement. Do you understand me?
Methinks I do.
And how does your content tender your own good fortune?
I do remember you did supplant your brother Prospero.
True. Look how well my garments sit upon me now. Much feater than before. My brother's servants were then my fellows. Now they are my men.
But for your conscience.
Aye, sir, where lies that? I feel not this deity in my bosom. Here lies your brother, no better than the earth he lies upon. If he were that which now he's lying, that's dead, whom I, with this obedient steel, 3 inches of it, lay to rest forever, whilst you doing thus to the perpetual might send this ancient morsel, this Sir Prudence, who should not upbraid our force. As for the rest, they'll take suggestion as the cat laps milk. They'll tell the clock to any business we say befits the hour.
Thy case, dear friend, shall be my precedent. As thou gott's millen, I'll come by Naples. Draw thy sword. One stroke shall free thee from the tribute which thou payest, and I, the king, shall love thee.
When I rear my hand, do you the like to fall upon Gonzalo?
Oh, but one word.
My master, through his art, foresees the danger that you, his friend, are in, and sends me forth, for else his project dies, to keep thee living. While you here do snoring lie, open my conspiracy, this time doth take. If of life you have a care, shake off slumber and beware. Awake,
Well, then let us both be silent.
Now, good angels, preserve the king!
Why? How now? Oh, awake! Why are they drawn? Wherefore this ghastly looking?
What's the matter?
Whilst we stood here securing your repose, even now we heard a bellowing like bulls or lions. Did not wake you. Struck my ear most terribly.
I heard nothing.
It was a din to frighten monsters here. It was an earthquake. That was the roar of a whole herd of lions.
Heard you this, Gonzalo?
Upon mine honor, sir, I heard a humming, and a strange one too, for it did awake me. I shaked you, sir, and cried, and as mine eyes opened, I saw their weapons drawn. There was a noise, that's fair. 'Tis best we stand our guard, or best we leave this place. Let's draw our weapons.
Lead off this ground. Let us make further search for my poor son.
Heaven keep him from these beasts, for he's surely in the isle.
Lead away.
Prospero, my lord, shall know what I have done, so keep go safely on to seek thy son.
All the infections the sun sucks up, from bogs, bends, flats, on Prospero, and make him by inch meal a disease. The spirits hear me, and yet I needs must curse. They'll not pinch, fright me with urgent shows, or pitch me in the mire, or leave me like a firebrand in the dark out of my way unless he bid 'em. For every trifle they are set upon me. Sometime like apes who mow and chatter at me and after bite me, and then like hedgehogs who mount their pricks at my footfall. Sometime I'm all cloven with adders who with glowing tongues do hiss me into madness. 'Tis a spirit of his, and it torment me for bringing in wood slowly. I'll fall flat, perchance he won't mind me.
There's neither bush nor shrub to bear off any weather at all. Another storm brewing. Hear it sing in the wind. Yon same black cloud, yon huge one, looks like a foul bombard that would shed his liquor. It thunders it did before. I don't know where to hide my head. Yon same cloud cannot choose but fall by pale fools. What have we here? A man or a fish? Or both? Dead or alive? A fish! He smells like a fish. A very ancient and fish-like smell. Kind of not of the newest Port John. A strange fish. Right in England now as once I was. Had but this fish painted. Not a holiday fool there, but would give me a piece of silver. There would this monster make a man. Each strange beast there makes a man. They'll not give a doit to relieve a lame beggar. They'll lay out 10 to see a dead Indian. Legged like a man, fins like arms. Oh, my trot. I do now let loose my opinion. Hold it no longer. This is no fish, but an islander that hath lately suffered by a thunderbolt. Alas, the storm has come again. My best play is to creep under his gabardine. There's not a shelter hereabout. Misery acquaints a man with strange bedfellows. I will here shout till the dregs of the storm be past.
The very scurvy tune to sing at a man's funeral. Well, here's my comfort. The master, the swabber, the boatswain, and I, the gardener, and his mate. Loved Moll, Meg, and Marianne, and Marjorie, but none of us cared for Kate. For she had a tongue with a tang, would cry to a sailor, go hang. She loved nor the savor of tar, nor a pitch at a tailor, might scratch her wherever she did it. Didn't see boys and let her go hang. Well, that's a scurvy tune too. But here's my comfort!
Do not torment me, I prithee!
What's the matter? Have we devils here? You put trick upon us with savages and men of Ind? I have not escaped drowning. To be afeard now of your 4 legs? For it has been said, as proper a man as ever went on 4 legs cannot make him give ground. And it shall be said so again. While Stefano breathes at his nostrils.
The spirit torments me!
This is some monster of the Isle with 4 legs. Who hath got, as I take it, an ague? Why the devil should he learn our language? If I can cover him and keep him tame, get to Naples with him, he's a present for any emperor that ever trod on neat's leather.
I prithee, do not torment me longer. I shall bring my wood home faster.
He is in his fit now and does not talk after the wisest. I will give him some relief. If it be but for that. If I can recover him and keep him tame, I will not take too much for him. He shall pay for him that hath him. And that sounds good.
Has hurt me but little. That was anon, I know by thy trembling. Now prosper once upon thee.
Come on your ways, open your mouth. Here is that which will give language to you, cat. Open your mouth. This will shake your shaking, I can tell you. Open your mouth. You can't tell who's your friend out here. You go.
I should know that voice. It should be, but he is drowned, and these are devils that would offend me.
4 legs and 2 voices? A most delicate monster. His forward voice now is to speak well of his friend. Backward voice is to utter foul speeches and to detract. If all the wine in my bottle can recover him, I will help his ague. Come! Amen! I will pour some in thy other mouth. Don't thy other mouth call me! I'm the devil and no monster! I will leave him if I have no long spoon!
Stefano! If thou beest Stefano, touch me! Speak to me! Friend Trinculo, be not afeard! A good friend, Trinculo!
If thou beest Trinculo, come forth! I will pull thee. What? Oh, very Trinculo indeed! How camest thou to be the siege of this moon calf? Can he vent Trinculos?
I took him to be killed in the thunderstroke, and art thou not drowned, Stefano? I hope not. Now thou art not drowned. Is the storm blown? I hid me under the dead mooncalf's gabardine for fear of the storm, and art thou living, Stefano? Oh, Stefano, two Neapolitans escaped!
Do not turn me about! My stomach is not constant.
If these be fine things, and they be not spirits, that is a brave god, and bears celestial liquor. I will kneel to him.
How camest thou hither? Swear by this bottle, how camest thou hither? I escaped on a butt of sack, which the sailors heaved overboard. By this bottle, which I made from the bark of a tree, with mine own hands, since I was cast ashore.
I swear upon thy bottle to be thy true subject, for thy liquor is not earthly.
Swear then how thou escapest.
Swim ashore, man, like a duck. I can swim like a duck, I'll be sworn.
Here, kiss the book. Though thou canst swim like a duck, thou art made like a goose.
Oh, Stefano! Hast thou any more of this?
The whole butt, man! It's in my cellar in the rock by the seaside. That's where my wine is hid. How now, mooncalf? How designing you?
Hast thou not dropped from heaven?
Out to the moon, I do assure thee. I was the man in the moon when time was.
And I have seen thee in her, and do adore thee. My mistress showed me thee, and thy dog, and thy bush.
Come, swear to that. Here, kiss the book. I will furnish it anon with new contents, swear.
This is very shallow, monster. I have feared him. Very weak, monster. The man in the moon? Most poor, credulous monster. Well drawn, monster. Good suit.
I shall show thee every fertile inch of the island, and I'll kiss thy foot. I pray thee, be my god.
This light is the most drunken and perfidious monster. When his god's asleep, he'll rob his people.
I'll kiss thy foot and swear myself thy subject.
Go on then, down and kiss.
I shall laugh myself to death at this puppy-headed monster. This most scurvy monster. I can find in my heart to beat him.
Come, kiss!
But the poor monster is in drink.
I'll show thee the precious springs. I'll pluck thee berries. I shall fish for thee. I shall get thee wood enough. A plague upon the tyrant that I serve. I'll bury him no more sticks, but serve thee, thou wondrous man.
Most ridiculous monster. And to make a wonder of a poor drunkard.
Let me bring thee where crabs grow, and with my nails I shall dig thee pig nuts. I shall show thee a jay's nest, and teach thee to snare the nimble marmoset. I shall bring thee to clustering filberts, and sometime we'll gather young scammels from the rock. Wilt thou go with me?
Lead the way without any more talking here. Bear my bottle. Fellow trinket, we'll fill him by and by again.
Farewell, master, farewell, farewell. No more dams I'll make for fish. No
Howling monster.
Requiring no escape for drilling no
Drunken monster.
Ben Cacalaban has a new master, gets a new man.
Oh, my
freedom,
lead the way!
freedom, 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 oi! Freedom, freedom, oi! There be some sports are painful. And their delight in them sets off. Some kinds of basis are nobly undergone. And most poor matters point to rich ends. This my mean task would be as heavy to me as odious. The mistress which I serve wickens what's most to me in the world. Oh, she is 10 times more gentle than her father's crabbed, and he's composed of harshness. I must remove some thousands of these logs, upon a sore injunction. My mistress weeps when she sees me work, and says with such baseness it never like executor. But I forget that these sweet thoughts do even refresh my labors most busiest when I do them.
Alas now, pray you, work not so hard. How would the lightning have burnt up the logs that you were enjoined to pile? Pray rest yourself. When these burns, 'twill weep for having wearied you. My father is hard at study. He's safe for these 3 hours.
No, my sweet mistress. The sun will set before I shall discharge what I must strive to do.
If you'll sit down, I'll bear your losses a while. Pray give me that. I'll carry it to the pile.
No, precious creature. I'd rather crack my sinews, break my back, than you should such dishonor undergo while I sit lazy by.
But it would become me as well as it does you. And I shall do it with much more ease, for my good will is to it, and yours is against it.
Poor worm, thou art infected. This visitation shows it.
You look wearily.
No, 'tis fresh morning with me, than you by at night. I do beseech you, chiefly that I might set it in my prayers. What is your name?
Miranda? Oh, my father, I broke your house to say so.
Admire Miranda. Indeed, the top of admiration, worth many to the world. For several virtues have I like several women, but never any was so full soul, but some defect in her did meet the quarrel. But you, oh you, so perfect and so peerless, are created of every creature's best.
I do not know one of my sex. No woman's face remembers, save from my glass mine own. Nor have I seen more that I may call men than you, good friend. And my dear father, how features are abroad I am skilless of. But by my modesty, the jewel in my dower, I would not wish any companion in the world but you, nor can imagination form a shape beside yourselves alike of. But I prattle something too wildly, and my father's precepts I there do forget.
I am in my condition a prince, Miranda. I do think a king. I would not so, and would no more endure this wooden slavery than the flesh fly blow my mouth. Hear my soul speak. The very instant that I saw you did my heart fly to your service, and there it resides to it. And for your sake, am I this patient logman.
Do you love me?
O heaven, O earth, bear witness to this sound as I profess with kind event. If I speak true, if holy, but by all means what else in the world do love, prize, and honor you.
I am a fool to weep at what I am glad of.
Rare encounter of 2 most rare affections. Heavens rain grace on that which breeds between them.
Wherefore weep you?
And my unworthiness that dare not offer what I desire to give, and much less what I shall die to want. But this is trifling, and all the more it seeks to hide itself, the bigger bulk it shows. Hence bashful cunning. Prompt me plain and wholly innocent. I'll be your wife if you will marry me. If not, I will die your maid. To be your fellow, you may deny me, but I'll be your servant whether you will or no.
My mistress dearest, I thus humble ever.
My husband, then?
I, with a heart as willing, and bondage e'er of freedom. Here's my hand.
And here is mine, with my heart in it. And now farewell, till half an hour hence.
1,000,000.
So glad of this as they, I cannot be to loss of pride withal. But my rejoicing at nothing could be more. I'll to my book, for I must yet ere supper time perform much business appertaining.
Tell not me! When the blood is out, we will drink water, and not a drop of it. Therefore, bear up in boredom. Servant monster, drink to me.
Servant monster, there's a folly of this island. They say there's but 5 of us upon this isle. We be 3 of them, if the other 2 be brave like us. The state totters.
Drink, servant monster, when I bid thee. Thy eyes are almost set in thy head.
Where should they be set else? He were a brave monster indeed if they were set in his tail.
My man-monster hath drowned his tongue in sack. For my part, the sea cannot drown me. I swam ere I could recover the shore, 35 leagues off and on by this light. Thou shalt be my lieutenant, monster, or my standard.
You're a lieutenant if you list. He's no standard.
Will not run, Monsieur Monster.
Nor go, neither. Yet you'll lie like dogs and say nothing, neither.
Mooncalf! Speak once in thy life if thou beest a good mooncalf.
How does thy honor? Let me lick thy foot. I'll not serve him. He is not valiant.
Thou liest, most ignorant monster. I am encased to justle a constable. Thou debauched fish, thou. Was ever a man a coward who hath drank so much sack as I today? Wilt thou tell a monstrous lie, being but both half fish and half a monster?
Lo, how he mocks me. Wilt thou let him, my lord?
A lord, quoth he, that a monster should be such a natural.
Lo again. I prithee, master, bite him to death.
Trinculo! Keep a good tongue in your head. If you prove a mutineer, the next tree with you. The poor monster's my subject, and he will not suffer indignity.
I think, my noble master, would thou be pleased to hearken once again to the suit I made thee?
Marry will I. Kneel and repeat it. I will stand. I will stand. So shall Trinculo.
As I told thee, I am subject to a tyrant sorcerer, who by his cunning hath cheated me from this island.
Thou liest.
Thou liest, thou jesting monkey, thou! I would my master destroy thee. I do not lie.
Trinculo! Trouble him any more in his tail, and by this hand I will supplant some of your teeth!
Why? What said I?
Mum then, and no more.
Proceed.
By sorcery he got this isle. From me he got it. If thy greatness will, revenge it on him. For I know these things thou darest, but this thing dare not.
That's most certain.
It shall be thine, and I shall serve thee.
How now shall this be compassed? Canst thou bring me to the party?
Aye, Lord, aye. I shall yield thee him sleep. There, thou mayst knock a nail into his head.
Thou liest, thou canst not.
What a pied ninny is this, thou scurvy patch? I do beseech thy greatness, give him blows, and take that bone from him. For when he's gone, he shall drink not the brine, for I'll not show him where the quick impressions are.
Trinculo! Run into no further danger. Interrupt the monster one word further, and by this hand, I will turn my mercy out of doors and make a stockfish of thee.
Why? What did I? I said nothing.
Didst thou not say he lied?
Thou liest.
Do I so? Take thou that! As you like it, give me the lie another time.
I did not give the lie. Out of your wits and hearing too. A pox of your bottle. This can sack and drinking do. A murrain on your monster and the devil take your fingers.
Prithee, further with your tail. Forward with your tail, forward. Stand farther off.
Beat him enough. After a little time, I shall beat him too.
Come, proceed. Stand farther!
the custom of him to sleep in the afternoon. There, the master knock that nail into his head, with a log batter his skull, or cut his weasel with a knife, possessing first his books. For without him, he is but as soft as I am. He cannot control the spirits, for they hate him as rudely as I do. Burn but his books. On occasion, he will deck with all his house that he has a house, with utensils, for so he calls them. But that most to consider is the beauty of his daughter. Even he calls her a non-peril. I ne'er saw a woman, only Sycorax, my dam, and she, but she hath far surpassed Sycorax, as greatest doth least.
Is it so brave a lass?
Oh, she will be thy bed, I warrant, and bring forth brave brood.
Monster, I will kill this man. His daughter and I will be king and queen. Save our graces, and Trinculo and thyself shall be viceroys. Dost thou like the plot, Trinculo?
Excellent. Within this half hour will he be asleep. Wouldst thou destroy him then?
Aye, on mine honor.
This shall I tell my master. Thou makest me merry. I am full of pleasure. Let us be jocund. Will you twirl the catch you taught me while ere?
At thy request, monster, I will do reason any reason. Come, Trinculo, let us sing. Flout 'em and scout 'em and scout 'em and flout 'em. Thought is free.
That's not the tune.
What is this same?
This is the tune of our catch, played by the picture of nobody.
If thou beest a man, show thyself in thy likeness. If thou beest a devil, take it as thou list.
Oh, forgive me my sins.
He that dies pays all debts. I defy thee. Mercy upon us.
Art thou afeard?
No, monster, not I.
Be not afeard. This isle is full of noises, sweet sounds and airs that give delight and hurt not. Sometime I am twined with 1,000 twanging instruments that hum about my ears. That when I had waked after dreaming, I cried to dream again.
This will prove a brave kingdom to me, for I shall have my music for nothing.
When Prospero is destroyed.
Aye, that will be by and by. I remember the story.
The sound is going away. Let's follow it and after do our work.
Lead, monster! We'll follow. I would I could see this taborer. He lays it on. Wilt come?
I'll follow, Stefano.
Violations. I can go no further. My own bones ache. It is a maze fought indeed through false rights and meanders. By your patience, my lord, I needs must rest me.
Oh, Lord, I cannot blame thee. I am myself attached with weariness to the dulling of my spirits. Sit down and rest. Even here, I will give up my hope. He is drowned whom thus we stray to find, and the sea mocks all prostrate such on land. Well, let him go.
I am right glad that they are so out of hope. Do not for one repulse forgo the purpose that you resolve to effect.
The next advantage will we take thoroughly.
Let it be tonight, for now they are weary with travel. They will not, nor cannot use such vigilance as when they are fresh.
I say tonight, no more.
What harmony is this? These heavens, what are these?
Legs rolling. Now I believe they're unicorns.
If enablement to report us, will they believe me? If I could say I saw the ground from certain they are out the island. If they are such monstrous shape, but of such kind nature to exceed our own human generation, you'll find many, nay, if any.
Your gracious lord, thou hast said well, for there are there present among you those who are worse than devils.
I cannot too much muse such shapes, such sounds, expressing, although they want the use of tongue, a kind of excellent dumb discourse.
Praise in departing.
They vanish strangely.
That is not. Mayhaps they have left their viands behind, for we have stomachs. Will please you taste of what is here?
Not I.
Have faith, sir. Fear not. For we were but boys who believed that there were mountaineers that looked like fools, who had hanging from their throats wallets of flesh. But there were such men whose heads stood from their breath. For there was each
I will stand
of
to
the five,
thee,
one, whose
although my
name stood
last-
warrant of.
No matter. I feel the best is past. Brother, my lord the Duke, stand to and do as we.
You three are men of sin, whom destiny that had to instrument this lower world and what is in it, the never sufficed sea had caused to belch up you, and on this island where men doth not inhibit, you amongst men being most unfit to live. I have made you mad. And even with such like valor men do hang and drown their proper selves. You fools! I and my fellows are ministers of fate. The elements of which your swords are tempered might as well wound the loud winds, or with them up that stabs kill the still closing waters, as diminish one down that's in my broom. My fellows are like and one. If you could hurt, your swords are now too massy for your strengths and will not be uplifted. But remember, for that's my business to you, that you three from Milan did supplant good Prospero, and unto the sea which hath requited him and his innocent child. For which foul deeds the powers delaying, not forgetting, having since the seas, the shores, yea, all the creatures against your peace. Thee of thy son alone, so they have bereft, and do pronounce by me lingering perdition, worse than any death can be at once, shall step by step attend you and your ways, whose wrath to guard you from yon this desolate isle, else falls upon your heads if little but hard sorrow and a clear life ensue.
Bravely the figure of this harpy hast thou portrayed, my Ariel. The grace it had, devouring of my instruction. Hast thou nothing baited in what thou hadst to say? These mine enemies are all knit up in their distractions, and in these fits I leave them, while I go visit young Ferdinand, whom they suppose is drowned, and his and my love die.
Why, in the name of something holy, son, why stand you in this strange stare?
Oh, it is monstrous. Monstrous. Methought the billows spoke and told me of it, and the wind did sing it to me, and the thunder, that deep and dreadful organ pipe, pronounced the name of Prosper. It did base my trespass. Therefore, my son in the ooze is bedded, and I shall seek him deeper than air plummet sounded, and there lie with him mudded. One fiend at a time, I'll fight their legions o'er.
I'll be thy second.
Quickly, those that suffer join, fold them and hinder them from what this ecstasy may provoke them to.
Follow, I pray.
If I have too austerely punished you, your compensation makes amends. For I have given you here a third of mine own life, or that for which I live. Once again, I tender to thy hand. All thy vexations were but my trials of thy love, and thou hast strangely stood the test. Here, before heaven, I ratify this, my rich gift. Ferdinand, do not smile at me that I boast of her, for thou shalt find she shall outstrip all praise, and make it haught behind her. So, as my gift, and thine own acquisition, worthily purchased, take my daughter. But thou dost break her virgin knot before all sanctimonious ceremonies may with full and holy rite be ministered. No sweet aspersion shall the heavens let fall to make this contract grow, but barren hate, sour-eyed disdain, and discord shall bestrew the union of thy bed with weed so loathly that you shall hate it both. Therefore, take heed, as Hymen's lance shall like you.
As I hope for quiet day, fair issue, and long life, with such love as 'tis now, the murkiest din, the most opportune place, and the strongest suggestion, our worser genius can shall never melt. Mine honor and the lust to take away the edge at day's celebration, for me to think of Phoebus, or days of foundered, night kept chained below.
Fair miss, sit then, and talk with her. She is thine own. What ho! Ariel! Ariel, my industrious servant, Ariel!
What was my good master? Here I am.
Thou and thy meaner fellows your last service did worthily perform, and I must use you in such another trick. Go bring the rabble, for whom I give thee power, here, to this place, incite them to quick motion, for I must here bestow upon the eyes of this young couple some vanity of mine art. It is my promise, and they expect it of me.
Presently,
Aye, with a twink.
before you can say come and go, or breathe twice, crying, so, each one tripping on his toe will be here with mop and blow. Do you love me, master? No?
Dearly, my delicate Ariel, do not approach till thou hast hear me call.
Well, I can see.
Look thou, be true. Do not give dalliance to much the rain. The strongest oaths are straw to the fire and the blood. Be more abstemious, or else good night your vow.
I want you, sir. The cold white virgin snows upon my heart. That baits the otter of my liver.
Well, now come, my Ariel, bring a corollary rather than want of spirit. Appear and pack thee. Hush. No tongue, all eyes, be silent.
What a most majestic vision. May I be bold to think these spirits?
Spirits, which by mine art I have from their confines called, to enact my present fancies.
Might I live forever. Such a rare, wonderful father and rare wife makes this place paradise.
Hush! Silent! There's something else to do. Hush and be mute, or else our spell is marred.
Some passion that works him strongly.
Never to this day saw him touched with anger so distempered.
You do look, my son, in a moved sort, as if you were dismayed. Be cheerful, sir. Our revels now are ended, and these our actors, as I foretold you, were all spirits, and are melted into earth, into thin air. And like the baseless fabric of this vision, the cloud-capped towers, the gorgeous palaces, the solemn temples, the great globe itself, yea, and all who it inhabit, shall dissolve. And like this insubstantial pageant faded, leave not a wreck behind. We are such stuff as dreams are made of. And our little life is rounded with the sleep. Sir, I am vexed. Bear with my weakness. My old brain is troubled. Oh, be not feared of my infirmities. If it please you, retire into my cell, and there repose. A turn or two I'll walk. Oh, still my beating mind.
We wish you peace.
Come with a thought. I thank thee, Ariel. Come.
Thy thoughts I cleave to, what's thy pleasure?
Spirit, we must prepare to meet with Caliban.
Aye, Commander, when I presented Ceres, I thought to have told thee of it, but I feared least I might anger thee.
Say again, Spirit, where didst thou leave these varlets?
I told you, sir, they were red hot with drinking, so full of valor that they smote the air for breathing in their face and beat the ground for kissing at their feet, yet always bending towards their project. So I beat my tabor, at which, like unbacked colts, they pricked their ears, advanced their eyelids, lifted their noses, and smelled music. So I charmed their ears. That calf-like lowing, they followed me through toothed berries and pricking gauze and thorns, which entered their frail shins. I left them in the filthy mantled pool beyond my cell, there, dancing up to their chins at the foul lake or stumped their feet.
This was well done, my bird. Thy shape invisible, retain thou still. The trumpery in my house. So bring it as stale to catch these thieves.
I go.
A devil, a born devil, on whose nurture never can stick, on whom my pains, humanely taken, are lost, all lost, quite lost. And as his body with age uglier grows, so his mind cankers. I will plague them all, even to roaring! Come, Ariel, hang them on this line!
Pray you, tread soft. The blind mole may not hear a footfall. We are now near his cell.
Monster, your fairy, which you say is a harmless fairy, has done little better than played the jack with us.
Monster, I do smell all horse piss, at which my nose is in great indignation.
So is mine! Do you hear, monster? If I should take a displeasure against you, look you!
Thou wert but a lost monster.
Good my lord, give me thy favor still. Be patient. For the prize I shall bring thee to shall hoodwink this mischance. Therefore, speak softly. All hushed is midnight yet.
Aye, but to lose our bottles in the pool?
There's not only disgrace and dishonor in that monster, but an infinite loss.
That's more to me than my wetting. Yet, this is your harmless fairy, monster.
I will fetch off my bottle, though I be your ears for my labor.
My lord, be quiet, I prithee. Seest thou here? This is the mouth of the cell. No noise and enter. Do that good mischief which may make this island thine own forever. For I thy Caliban, for I thy foot liquor.
I do begin to have bloody thoughts.
Oh, King Stephano, oh, peer, oh, worthy Stephano. Look what a wardrobe here is for thee.
Let it alone, it is but trash.
Oh, monster, we know it belongs to a frippery.
Put off that gown, trinket. Oh, by this hand I'll have that gown.
Thy grace shall have it.
The dropsy drowned this fool. What do you mean you don't have such luggage? Let us do the murder first and along. If you wake, he shall fill our skins with peaches, make us strange stuff.
Be you quiet, monster. Mistress Line, is this not my jerkin?
Do, we still by line and level, that is my grace.
I thank thee for that jest. Here's a garment for it. Wit will not go unrewarded while I am king of the country.
Come, monster, put some lime upon your fingers.
None on it. We shall lose our time. We shall be turned to barnacles or to apes with heads villainous low.
Monster, raise your fingers. Help to bear this away over my hogshead of wine, or I will turn you out of my kingdom. Go to, carry this.
In this?
Oh, I am this.
This minute lie at my mercies all mine enemies. Shortly shall all my labors cease, and thou shalt have the air at freedom. Now, my project does gather to a head. My charms crack not, all my spirits obey, and time goes upright with his carriage. Say, how's the day?
On the 6th hour, Lord. At which time you said our work would cease.
I did say so, when first I raised the Tempest. Say again, spirit, how fares the king and his followers?
In the same fashion as you gave in charge. Just as you left them all prisoners, sir, in the line boat that weatherpinned your sail. The king, his brother, and Jules, all three distracted, with the remainder mourning over them, all brimful of sorrow and dismay. Yet, the one you termed, sir, the good old Lord Gonzalo, his tears run down his beard like winter's drops from eaves of reeds. Your charm so strongly works him that if you now beheld them, your affections would become tender.
Dost thou think so, spirit?
Mine would so, were I human.
And mine shall. As thou, which art but air, a touch, a feeling of their affliction, shall not myself, all of their kind, that relish all as sharply passion as they, be kindlier moved than thou art? Though with their high wrongs I am struck to the quick, yet with my nobler reason 'gainst my fury do I take part. The rarer action is in virtue than in vengeance. They being penitent, the sole drift of my purpose shall extend not a frown further. Go release them, Ariel. My charms I'll break, their senses I'll restore, and they shall be themselves.
Fetch them, sir.
Of hills, brooks, standing lakes, and groves, and ye that on the sand with printless foot do chase the ebbing Neptune, and do fly him when he comes back. Ye dimmy puppets that by moonshine to the green sour ringlets make, whereof the Yule not bites. And ye whose pastime it is to make midnight mushrooms, who rejoice to hear the solemn curfew, by your aid, weak masters though ye be, I have bedimmed the noontide sun, called forth the mutinous winds, and twixt the green sea and the azured vault set a roaring war. To the dread rattling thunder have I given fire, and rifted Jove's stout oak by his own boat. The strong-based promontory have I made shake, and by the spurs plucked up the pine and cedar. Graves at my command have waked their sleepers, oft, and let them forth by my so potent art. This rough magic I here abjure, and when I have required some heavenly music, as even now I do, to work mine end upon the senses this airy charm is for, I'll break my staff, bury it certain fathoms in the earth, and deeper than did ever plummet sound, I'll drown my book. A solemn air, and the best comforter to an unsettled fancy, cure thy brains, now useless, boiled within thy skull. There stand, or you are spell-stopped. Holy Gonzalo, honorable man, mine eyes, even sociable to the shore guide, all fellowly drops. The charm dissolves apace, and as the morning steals upon the night, melting the darkness, so their rising senses begin to chase the ignorant fumes that now mantle their clearer reason. Oh, good Gonzalo, my true preserver, and a loyal serf to him thou followest, I'll pay thy graces home, both in word and deed. Most cruelly didst thou, Alonso, use me and my daughter. Thy brother was a furtherer in the act. Thou art pinched for it now, Sebastian. Flesh and blood, brother mine, who entertained ambition, expelled remorse and nature, I do forgive thee. Unnatural though thou art, their understanding begins to swell. and the approaching tide will shortly fill the reasonable shore, which now lies foul and muddy. Not one of them that yet sees me would know me. Ariel, fetch me my circlet and collar from my cell. I will discase me and present myself as I was sometime villain. That's my delicate Ariel. I shall miss thee, and yet thou shalt be free. So to the kingship, invisible as thou art. There shalt thou find the mariners asleep under the hatches, the master and boatswain being awake. Entice them to this place, and presently, I pray thee,
I'll drink the air before me and return ere your pulse twice beat.
Oh, torment, trouble, wonder, amazement inhabits you. Some heavenly creature guide us from this fearful country.
Behold, Sir King, the wronged Duke of Milan, Prospero. And for more assurance that a living prince doth speak to thee, I embrace thy body, and to thee and thy company I bid a hearty welcome.
Whether thou beest here or no, or some enchanted trifle to abuse me as late I have been, I not know. Thy pulse beats as of flesh and blood, and since I saw thee, the affliction of my mind amends with which I fear of madness held me. This must crave, and if it be at all, a most strange story. I resign thy dukedom and do beg pardon for my wrongs. How should Prospero be living and be here?
First, noble friend, let me embrace thine age, whose honor cannot be measured or confined.
Whether this be or be not, I'll not swear.
You do yet taste some subtleties of the eye, which will not allow you to believe all things certain. Welcome, all. But you, my brace of lords, were I so minded, I could here pluck his highness's frown upon you and justify you traitors. At this time, I will tell no tales.
Devil speaks in him.
No! But you, most wicked, sir! whom to call brother would even infect my mouth. I do forgive thy rankest fault, all of them. And I do require my dukedom of thee, which perforce I know thou must restore.
If thou beest Prospero, give us particulars of thy preservation. How hast thou met us here, where 3 hours since we were wrecked on this shore, and I have lost? Oh, how sharp the point of that remembrance is, my dear son Ferdinand.
I am woe for it.
Irreparable is the loss, and patience says it is past a cure.
I rather think you have not sought her help. By whose soft graces for the like loss, I have her sovereign aid, and rest myself content.
You, the like loss?
As great to me as late, and supportable to make the dear loss, have I means much weaker than you may call to comfort you, for I have lost a daughter.
Daughter? Oh, heavens, that they were both living in Naples, the king and queen there. That they were? I wish myself were muddied in that oozy bed where my son lies. When did you lose your daughter?
In this last tempest. I perceive these lords do so much admire that they devour their reason, and think their eyes scarce do offices of proof. Their words are natural breath. But howsoever you are justled from your senses, know for certain that I am Prospero, and that very duke which was thrust forth of Milan, who more strangely on this isle where you were wrecked was landed to be the lord of it. Yet no more of this, for 'tis a chronicle of day by day, and not a subject for a breakfast or befitting this first meeting. Welcome, sir. This sells my court. Here have I few attendants and subjects, none abroad. Pray you look in. My dukedom, now that you have given me again, I will requite you with as good a thing, at least a wonder to content ye as much as me, my dukedom.
Sweet lord, you play me false.
No, my dearest love, I would not for the world.
Yes, for a score of kingdoms we shall wrangle, and I shall call it fair play.
If this prove a vision of the island, one dear son shall I twice lose.
No, a most high miracle.
The seas may threaten here merciful. I have cursed them without cause.
Now that the blessings of a father compass thee about, arise and say how thou camest here.
Oh, wonder. How many goodly creatures are there here? How beauteous mankind is. Oh, brave new world to have such people in it.
'Tis new to thee.
What is this maid with whom thou wast at play? Your eldest acquaintance cannot be 3 hours. Is she the goddess that has severed us and brought us thus together?
Sir, she is mortal. By immortal providence, she's mine. I chose her, but I could not ask my father for his advice, nor thought I had one. She is daughter to this famous Duke of Milan, whom I've heard renowned, but never seen, to whom I've received a second life. And second father, this lady makes him to me.
I am hers. How oddly it will sound that I must ask my child forgiveness.
There, sir, stop. Let us not burden our remembrances with a heaviness that's gone.
I have inly wept, should have spoke ere this. Look down, you gods, and upon this couple drop a blessed crown. For it is you who have chalked forth the path that led us hither.
I say amen, Gonzalo.
Was melon crushed for melon, where one man's issue should become kings of Naples? Ferdinand found a wife when he himself was lost. My friend Prospero, his dukedom, in his poor isle, when all of us ourselves and no man was his own.
Give me your hands. Let grief and sorrow still embrace his heart that doth not wish you joy.
Be it so. Amen. Oh, look, sir. Look, sir. I see more of us. As their prophecies of man cannot be drowned. What news bring you?
The best news is we have safely found our king and company. The next, our ship, which went 3 classes since we set out, split, is tight, and yard deed is bravery rigid as when we first put out to sea.
Sir, all this have I done since I went.
My tricksy spirit.
These are not natural events, they strengthen from strange to stranger. Say, how came you hither?
I do not think, sir, that we were well awake. I did strive to tell you, through dreaming, we were brought moping hither.
Was it well done, sir?
Bravely, my diligence, thou shalt be free.
This is as strange a maze as e'er men trod. There is in this business more than nature was ever conduct of. Some oracle must rectify our knowledge.
My liege, do not infect your mind with beating on the strangeness of this business. At his leisure, which shall be shortly, single I'll resolve you of every these happened accidents. Till when, be cheerful, and think of each thing well. Come hither, spirit. Go release Caliban and his companions. Untie the spell.
Oh.
How fares, my gracious sir? There are yet missing of your company some few odd lads that you remember not.
Every man shift for all the rest. And let no man take care for himself, for all is but fortune. Coraggio, bully monster, coraggio.
These be true spies which I wear in my head. Here's a goodly sight.
These be brave spirits indeed. How fine my master is! I'm afraid he will chastise me.
What things are these, my Lord Antonio? Will money buy them?
We're like, one of them is a plain fish. No doubt, marketable.
Mark with the badges of these men, my lord, and see if they be true. These 3 have robbed me, and this demi-devil, for he's a bastard one, has plotted with them to take my life. 2 of these fellows you must know and own. This thing of darkness I acknowledge mine.
Shall be pinched to death.
Is this not Stefano, my drunken butler?
He is drunk now. Where had he wine?
And Trinculo is reeling ripe. Where would they have gotten this grand liquor that had gilded them? How camest thou in this pickle?
I have been in such a pickle since last I saw you. I fear will not out of my bones. I shall not fear fly blowing.
Why, how now, Stefano?
Oh, touch me not, for I am not Stefano, but a cramp.
You'd be king of the isle, sirrah.
I would have been a sore one then.
And this is as strange a thing as e'er I looked on.
He is as disproportioned in his manners as in his shape. Go, sirrah, to my cell, and take with you your companions. And as you look to have my pardon, trim it handsomely.
Aye, that I will, and be wise hereafter, and seek for grace. What a thrice double ass was I, to take this drunkard for a god, and worship that dull fool!
Go to, away!
Hence, and bestow your luggage where you found it.
Or stole it, rather.
Sir, I invite you and your train to my poor cell, where you shall take your rest this one night, a part of which I shall waste with discourse which, I no doubt, shall make it go quick away, the story of my life, and these particular accidents since first I came to this shore. And in the morn I'll bring you to your ship, and thence to Naples, where I have hoped to see the nuptials of these, our dear beloved solemn night. Thence retire me to my million, where every third thought shall be my grave.
I long to hear the story of your life. It must take the ear strangely.
I'll deliver all, and promise you calm seas, auspicious gales, and sail so expeditious that you shall meet the royal fleet far off. Ariel, ship, this is thy charge. Then to the elements be free, and fare thou well. Pray you, draw near. Now, my charms are all overgrown, and what strength I have is mine own, which is most vain. Now, 'tis true, I must be here, confined by you, for sick Naples. Let me not, while that I my dukedom got, and pardon the deceivers, dwell in this fair island by your spell, but release me from my bands with the help of your good hands. Gentle breath of yours my sails must fill, or else my project fails, which was peace. Now, I want spirits to enforce, heart to enchant, and my envy is despair. Unless I be relieved by prayer which pierces so that it assaults mercy itself, and breathes all thoughts. As you from crimes would pardon free, let your indulgence set me free.